Where the left wing is calling the shots, folks, they continue to make gun ownership for Americans barely possible, even though it's one of our guaranteed rights in the Constitution. From your liberty-loving Latinos perspective, anyone who works to take away your Second Amendment right is not a real American. And I thank God for patriots who are fighting for our ability to defend ourselves from left-wing violent leftists and their lawless policies. Joining me now, host of the program that comes on right after this one, Carl Higbie Frontline. It's Carl Higbie himself, author of Good Guy, Bad Guy, and host of Loaded Mike. Dan Wass also joining us. Welcome to you both, gentlemen. Carl, you first. You have some good news to tell this audience, and it's about darn time we got some good news. It was expensive, and it took you a while, but you finally beat a left-wing jurisdiction. Tell the folks about it.
Yeah. Well, honestly, Chris, thanks. Gun Owners of America was really the hero here. They took this whole case up, and basically I live in Connecticut, and I'm a former Navy SEAL, so it should have been no problem for me to carry a gun in Manhattan, where I work every day, where there's crime going through the roof. And they decided, no, you can't do that. There was no mechanism for me to get a gun permit, an unrestricted full carry permit in Manhattan or in the state of New York even. So Gun Owners of America, with a couple other plaintiffs, we sued the state, we sued the city. Now the city buckled and said, hey, let's get you your permit before the lawsuit even was finished. We had one hearing and they said, you know, we're going to lose this. Carl, let's just get you your permit. And I said, okay, that's fine, but you have to make everybody be able to get it. And then they did, and as of yesterday, the entire state now must issue anybody who applies, who meets the legal criteria of not being a criminal, a concealed carry permit.
Right on, right on. Now, we have both of these videos up on our Twitter page and Truth Social pages, at C. Salcedo Show and at Chris Salcedo Show. A woman posted a video on TikTok threatening to shoot MAGA supporters, saying, quote, if we see someone with a MAGA hat, pew, 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 that's what we do. She's making the shooting gesture with her fingers. Yesterday, we reported the story of another left-wing lunatic who jumped on the communist China spy app, TikTok, to call for leftists to shoot up the Texas State House. Dan, while Democrats work to disarm law-abiding citizens, it's their kooks that are not only threatening to kill us, but they've taken shots at our president. Your thoughts, sir?
Yeah, well, Chris, thanks for having me on the show. And Carl, thanks for everything you did with respect to that lawsuit. With this lunatic on the left, you know, rather than going down the rabbit hole of getting involved in the psychology behind her problems, which she clearly has many, this is a great example of why the Second Amendment is so important. Because, you know, I got to ask, I'll ask you guys the question: how would you feel being unarmed in a coffee shop with that lunatic? I know I wouldn't want to be, and the problem is we haven't addressed psychological issues in this country, and we need to be able to protect ourselves. And it's not the thing is, everybody's calling for gun control laws and more firearm legislation. Well, it doesn't do anything to stop people who are willing to take lives in cold blood.
Yes.
It does stop the good guys, though, because we don't want to break the law. So gun laws are really dangerous, especially in a situation like this. Yeah.
How's about left-wing lunatic control? How about that? That would be really kind of cool. Carl,
can we create legislation for that? I don't know.
I don't know. Not what the Republican Party as it's currently constituted. Carl, now that you have won a victory in New York, are you setting your legal sights on other states that and their unconstitutional restrictions on our Second Amendment right of self-defense? Go ahead.
Absolutely, I am. Well, there's a group called the CCDL in Connecticut, the Connecticut Citizens Defense League. We're obviously challenging the AR ban, the other ban, and a variety of other things, including the magazine capacity ban. But also, Connecticut just took away our open carry rights. For years, it was just if you had a carry permit in Connecticut, you could carry concealed or open. They just took that away in the state legislature. Now, there's a case out of Florida that's going to be our precedent for this that we are going to win, and Gun Owners of America is another sponsor of that. And we are going to take this all the way up and say, no, you cannot make that law, because the Second Amendment is the right to keep and bear arms. It doesn't say concealed. It doesn't say open. It doesn't say on your head. It doesn't say with green eggs and ham. It just says you can carry a firearm. So we're going to challenge that. We are going to challenge everything we can, and we're going to get back the intended rights that we're supposed to have.
Amen to that. Dan, you and I bumped into each other at the Gun Owners of America second annual convention. In my mind, what makes GOA superior to the other organization is that it recognizes the genesis of the threats against our rights. They don't endorse leftists or fake Republicans who enable leftists to steal our rights, in particular our Second Amendment right of self-defense. How important is it that we have an organization like GOA that's going to be out there fighting for us in court so the left-wingers can't steal our rights?
I got to tell you, well, unfortunately, we need to do this. That's just part of the landscape here in America, especially when we have Democrats in charge of anything. Anything they do goes against freedom, the Constitution, Bill of Rights. And so it's so great to be involved with a group like Gun Owners of America. And I got to tell you, Gun Owners of America is pushing hard for constitutional carry. Let's start there, where all states have to recognize the permits of other states so we can travel freely without becoming a felon for crossing over state lines.
Yes.
And that's all.
Yes.
Go ahead.
How about, it's called reciprocity, and there is folks, there's something you got to know. There's a Republican who's holding that up right now. His name is John Cornyn for Texas. From Texas. He is sitting on reciprocity bills stopping our Second Amendment rights. I know Carl Higbie and Dan Walsh, they know that situation very well. Gentlemen, I got to cut off the conversation there. We got to get to a break. Appreciate you both being here. Thanks very much. Still ahead, we're remembering the life and legacy of Dr. James Dobson, the legendary Christian broadcaster.